In continuing coverage, the fate of the wild horses and livestock in the Theodore Roosevelt National Park is still up in the air. The most recent update concerning the national park's environmental assessment came this week. It's offering 3 alternatives for the horses and livestock. However, some advocates and supporters say they're still not pleased. Leading local tonight, KX News' Adrienne Oglesby spoke with one advocate who says she's disappointed, yet not one bit surprised by the assessment.
We're very disappointed. I think we expected this, but I think we expected most of it. I think that it's worse than we thought it was going to be.
Wild horse advocate Chris Command feels as if out of more than 19,000 public comments, their voices were not heard. Command says ultimately there will be no viable herd based off the assessment, no matter which alternative is chosen.
The last 2 pages of the environmental assessment are probably really the most telling, because it lets you know what they're not considering, and pretty much what they're not considering is anything that allows horses to remain in the park, whether it's reproductive, non-reproductive, genetically viable, historically, culturally, in any aspect, which then also calls into question alternative A. Are you doing an objective environmental assessment here? Are you doing an objective NEPA process? Because the reproductive herd listed in Appendix D is very similar to Appendix A. If you're not considering that, then I think that we can, assume that they're not considering Appendix A either, which is not a genetically viable herd either.
The National Park's assessment even looks at the economic contribution the wild horses have.
Throughout their report, they say that there will be little or no economic impact if they remove the horses from the park. And I know personally, as a small business owner in Medora, every business in Medora is extremely concerned about the negative impact it'll have on their businesses.
Command says people come for the horses. I reached out to our state lawmakers who have also been advocates and supporters from the beginning. Senator John Hoeven says we continue pressing NPS to maintain this herd, both in meetings with their leaders and through my role on the Senate Appropriations Committee. Governor Doug Burgum says we've expressed repeatedly to the NPS and Director Sams the state remains ready and willing to collaborate with the Park Service to keep wild horses in the park in a manner and number that supports genetic diversity and protects the park for visitors now and long into the future. Senator Brad Beckedahl stated, I am still fully supportive of maintaining the herds as part of the historical narrative of the park. I hope the public engages in this public comment period with the same enthusiasm as they did for the hearings on our resolution. As for Senator Kramer, he shares he's heard the concerns of North Dakotans who want to maintain a wild horse population within the park and has relayed the message to them. And Representative Josh Boucher,
it's certainly disappointing that the environmental assessment related to keeping the herd in Theodore Roosevelt National Park didn't come to the conclusion that we were hoping for. I'm going to continue to encourage North Dakotans to reach out and use the open comment period to voice their support for the horses and the longhorns, and make sure that we continue in all of North Dakota approach to make sure that we keep these treasures in Theodore Roosevelt National Park so that generations of North Dakotans and visitors can continue to enjoy their beauty and what they bring to the park.
Command says the comment period is open until October 25th, but she thinks it needs to be extended and answers need to be given before the public can make an informed decision.
So how can you comment when you don't know what that natural prairie ecosystem is?
KX News did reach out to the Theodore Roosevelt Park superintendent requesting an interview, which was denied. We also have requested some term clarification and the new civic engagement meeting date, as that has been changed. For KX News, I'm Adrienne Oglesby.
We're still waiting to hear back from the parks. However, we will bring you updates as they become available. You can view the park's full environmental assessment over at kxnet.com, along with our elected officials' full responses to the issue.